so goddamn fast. We tried to make it in a little moped.
Yeah.
With that, it would have just like fucking destroyed
As an electric motor.
As an electric motor, it would have just like fucking.
Because half of that is the solenoid, you know.
Yeah, and it just goes what?
Yeah.
And it just spins this fucker, and you're like, oh shit. So this gear reduction in there is like, I think it weighed maybe 1.5 pounds, and it was like 6 gears, all going into each other and just changing sizes and amounts of teeth. And because they were all crammed in there,
was
like
that was all in the starter motor too?
Yeah, there was a start, like literally, starter motor was like this.
Yeah.
And then you take off the front of it, and you have the starter motor.
Yeah.
And then the front part is just the gear reduction.
Yeah.
And the gear reduction was what attached to it.
I wonder if you could control the speed of it. That's nice. I wonder if you could, like an earring, stand up the ends of it. I wonder if you could control the speed of that starter motor with, like, you know, some sort of switch in between to regulate it. And then you just hook it up, so that's your throttle.
Well, my dad was saying a carbon pile, and the way those work is, it's pretty much like a variable. It's like a dimmer switch.
Yeah.
But it's just a stack of carbon, and your positive and negative is on it. And when you twist the knob or turn the handle, it presses the carbon together and causes less and less resistance, so more flow goes through it.
Yeah.
And you pretty much just go, it was going to work like that, but...
And then throttle down, yeah. And, but you could hook up that, like, crank, you know, that's coming out of the starter motor to small transmission, you know.
Yeah.
That would totally work. With a fat start, you just go and buy the fattest starter motor you can. A little motorcycle battery to it. You'd actually probably want a fat battery for cranking amps. But for a scooter, that would be fine, you know? So your motor is just a starter motor and a battery, and then you have like a little transmission somehow. You wouldn't even need one in certain scenarios, you know? It just depends on if you were like cruising really fast. I don't know how fast that starter motor could take you. And you'd want some sort of free spinning hub so that you didn't like destroy it when you were just cruising like down a...
Yeah, well, I forget what it was. We calculated out if traction wasn't an issue, and like stability or anything like that, with the belt that we had, because we had this little rubber belt that was toothed that fit perfectly in the starter. The starter fucking head that we knocked back on. We're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And we like did that. And
did you need a retainer for it, or was it just like...
We never actually finished the thing, but we calculated out what it was going to do in the ratio of that spinning to the size of the wheel and the size of the gear on the wheel with that belt. And if traction wasn't an issue, if nothing was an issue, it probably would have gotten about 200 miles per hour. But of course the tire would have melted before then, and you would have flown off as soon as you fucking did it. But without a carbon pile, it would have accelerated from 0 to that RPM.
Every time that you engaged it.
Every time you engaged it.
No, I know.